Hello and welcome to episode number 14 of the Nasty Metal Podcast. Yes, it's a pretty, again, short one. The reason is this was the original schedule anyways for this episode, but because of which I explain all the reasons why episode 13 came a little late. Again, go and listen to episode number 13 of the Nasty Metal Podcast to at least to understand why. So I don't have to repeat it here on this episode, because I just want this to at least be just more newer, feel more different. But this is also going to be slightly short, all right? Because I don't really have a Q&A segment for this one. So this one is just kind of just a little different, all right? It's more of a thrown together in some ways, basically shoot the shit style one. But there is one I do want to talk about, and it'll be a little rant, all right? It's a rant on a review. So I'll get to that still. So again, to try and make this one a little bit more slightly entertaining, all right? So it doesn't seem like I'm just on here babbling like a goddamn jackass. Starting to sound like my friend Heavy Metal Gamer. Hello there. Okay. So where do I completely start? Well, for one, as far as scheduled content, which of course this past week, since this is coming out on Saturday, alright, it's coming out on Saturday the 27th, I do have to definitely at least mention that there's, again, I'm glad that I'm back to being at least back at a full schedule, again, pumping out more Album of the Week episodes. Again, this past week we saw Sounds of Violence from Onslaught, which is I think is definitely one of the most finest modern day thrash metal albums. Then of course reviewing the Werewolves on Wheels album from Norwegian heavy metal band Warsaw, and then finally this Friday, which was just yesterday, again pumping out my review for the newest album Inspirations, which is the first covers album from one of my favorite British metal bands. Again, one of the also earliest stalwarts of the new wave of British metal movement, that was Saxon. And I guess in some cases, I almost feel like this would be the segue here into where I want to rant on a particular review, which I did kind of mention in my review for my review of Inspirations from Saxon. However, I tried to refrain from me, at least at best, from going into a rant, because I didn't want to make that one as long as 40 minutes, because it would have been 40 minutes at that point. I didn't want that, so I tried my best to kind of hold me back as much as I could from just ripping into a particular review that I've read on this album. And I don't always particularly like to read reviews from, at least on really new releases. Sometimes, though, I cave in. For example, like with Power Up from AC/DC, I kind of cave in. And then was Too Mean to Die from Accept. And I've seen some ridiculous reviews, again, which I've somewhat already touched on anyways when I reviewed Too Mean to Die from Accept. However, I do have to definitely say that from here, this is where I'll just go in, because I'm not going to talk about any other scheduled content, because again, what comes out on next week is what comes out, alright? So I'm not going to at least announce it, and also I don't have anything completely scheduled. Everything's pretty much off the cuff there when it comes to just uploading a lot of the content onto this channel. But so, again, I don't always read reviews, so trying to at least to get back on track. But god damn, it's on the Metal Archives now. Here's the thing: when you're trying to look for reviews, and one of the last places you want to look for any sort of at least decent reviews should be the Metal Archives. I've always have found ways to shit on the fucking Metal Archives. I hate these guys just as much as I think Jim Cornette is at this point dislikes fucking freaking what's his name, Dave Meltzer at this point. I've got such a complete bone to pick with every time I read a fucking review from the Metal Archives. I just always have a bone to pick because of the people that seem to really swarm and swim around on the Metal Archives are probably the most most clueless fucking people I've ever fucking seen and I've ever fucking interacted with on any sort of metal site to begin, or any forum to begin with. And some of the people that fucking write these reviews, either they don't understand the context, or they just don't want to understand the goddamn context of anything, and they'll just spat their bullshit like they just got done eating a goddamn dinner at freaking Taco Bell. They'll just shit it out no matter what. Even if it comes out fucking runny, they'll just fucking plaster it and they'll accept it. It's completely unfocused with a lot of these fucking morons. And I just, once again, it finally just, again, the examples. I'm sick and tired of at least of being given examples of why. At least good examples on how clueless these fucking people that write these reviews, that come in and sign up to at least the Metal Archives, think that they are the if anything, the second coming of some of the best reviewers to begin, like they are like it's God's word on anything. It's ridiculous, and I just want to slap them around like goddamn idiots. I just want to. So I'm going to slap around this fucking review right here. I'm not going to name any names. You can probably can find it anyways on the site. You can probably see who at least wrote this, but I'm not going to name them here. But the whole title of this review is not much inspiration to be found. Well, let's see if I can find anything inspirational from this review. If I can find any inspiration that is inside here. Let's see. So I'm going to read some of this. I'm going to read at least the beginning, and then I'll go on and just pick this fucking thing apart. Because of, I for some reason, I got to find something entertaining, I guess, for this episode of the Nasty Metal Podcast. So let's see. All right. Let's see what I can find here. Let's read through this, shall we? So, the market has recently been flooded with cover albums. Well, I mean, yes, no shit, but it's always going to be flooded with cover albums. At this point, cover albums is pretty much been it's been an old concept anyways now within the realms of bands. I mean, from Metallica to Slayer and so on, which I've mentioned some of them. The cover albums are pretty much are pretty much a thing right now, but they were a thing back then, even when I was growing up. I mean, Duran Duran had a fucking cover album in the late 90s or so, and that I don't want to completely go into there, but I'm just coming up with at least some sort of comparisons, just to name some. So, let's move on. Some of them were great, such as Anubis Gates, creative, experimental, and surprising, covered in colors. Okay. Others were decent, such as Beyond the Black's diversified, inspired, and intimate WOA, Acoustic Clash, the Lockdown Sessions. Alright. Others, yet again, were fairly average, such as Blut Engel's danceable, formulatic, and melodic Fountain of Destiny. Okay, whatever. Some releases were slightly underwhelming, like Billy Joe Armstrong's. Old-fashioned, predictable, and uninspired No Fun Mondays. Wow. Okay, like I really give a shit to begin with. Finally here, Saxon's Inspirations is, however, the worst of all those cover albums, and can only be described as mediocre at best. Wow. Let me clap for you, you fucking idiot. For one, let me pick apart this this part. So, if you're a Saxon fan, just as me, or you just like the classic heavy metal stuff, I mean, just to at least bear with me, if you're into that, you're a big Saxon fan, you come into Metal Archives and you see a review for Inspirations. Let's say you decide, I wonder what he thinks of this. You go on and click on it, and you get to you pretty much are just showered with comparisons to at least artist releases. And you probably have never fucking heard of to begin with. I mean, and also naming some artists that I think half Saxon fans probably don't even would have ever cared to fucking check it anyways. I mean, one, Billy Joe Armstrong, the fucking guy from Green Day. Why would you even fucking name drop a fucking person of a band that I think most fans of Saxon don't even give a lick about? Why? Why would you even add him in there? Same goes for at least some of these artists I've never fucking heard of. I mean, Bullet Angle. Apparently I never heard of them. But I go and read them up. There's some experimental band out of Germany. And again, of course, he goes and says danceable, which is which probably can be seen as a red flag. And again, I've talked about some experimental bands on this channel, but at the same time, I usually kept them at least whenever I made references to other bands. Let's say experimental bands, I'm trying to compare. I'm not going to compare this to something that is far beyond away from the sound of the band that I'm reviewing. I don't. And I mean, okay, cover albums, but at the same time, if you're a fan of Saxon, if you're going to at least have somebody who is going to at least do a review of an album from a classic metal band like Saxon who's doing a covers album, I think it would be your best, it would be a lot safer than that actually probably, if you're going to intrigue to at least a person who's a Saxon fan and is at least reading your review, your probably best bet would be to at least to name drop something for a cover sound from at least bands that they probably would know about. I mean, from Ace Frehley, I think most fans of Saxon will probably have listened to Kiss, and they probably know Ace Frehley. Again, they probably also have purchased the Origins Volume 1 and 2. I don't know why that was never not mentioned here, because again, that it would make more sense within this context. Even, let's say the fucking, The Circle, fucking Sammy Hagar and The Circle, they did was it the Lockdown Sessions? I haven't heard it, but it's another cover album. And again, the same sort of concept of what Saxon was doing in some cases with this album, Inspiration, which is basically take a lot of old school classic rock songs and just put you just record them as that. That's, again, but instead this person is going on and is starting to compare this and is putting this in the same listing of other bands who are far beyond, or are completely just their genre and their sound is so far away from Saxon. And I'll restrain from at least for now, from at least before I start making accusations of what this person probably should be doing, and instead of at least where he should put his fucking review, and who I feel this person at least could very well be talking to, instead of at least somebody who could be a fan of Saxon. So none of this, it's, I mean, the only other band that probably would intrigue anybody at this point would probably be Anubis Gate. Or even, what is it, Beyond the Black, maybe. Those are the only two. Apparently they are the closest to being more metal, especially Anubis Gate. Apparently like a progressive / power metal band. Never heard of them. They apparently are based out of Denmark, but the only one that could very well be at least up to at least the speed of at least most Saxon fans. Which is why you should be writing a review for. I mean, it's the Metal Archives, for fuck's sake. I mean, you would think, right? It's the Metal Archives. Going to at least write reviews that might cater to at least metal readers. Let's move on, though. So here we go. I'm going to try and zip through some of this before I completely go on and burn this guy more. The problem starts with a look at the track list. Oh. The overlapping vocals in the opening, Painted Black by the Rolling Stones, sound mildly confusing. Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song lacks the power of the original tune in the vocal department. The same goes for the lackluster rendition of AC/DC's Problem Child. Alright, for fucking one, you can tell that this guy obviously is I don't know. I'm gonna try and move on a little bit more, even though again I've got other problems with the way he just says. Flat out just says the quality of the tracks is another issue, or somebody says again right here the problem starts with the look at the track list. I mean, all right, you could probably can knock off an album, but whatever. But again, here we go. Right here, I kind of missed up a lot of it. So this album includes 11 old-fashioned tunes with a timid running time of 36 minutes that have mostly been covered on numerous occasions already. So I just got very confused by my people reading this. Fuck. If that is going to be your issue with the fucking covers album, is by saying, oh, the problem starts with a look at the track list. This album includes 11 old-fashioned tunes with a timid running time of 36 minutes. Fuck off, you little goddamn nincompoop piece of shit. Why would that even be a fucking problem? I mean, alright, some people I've noticed, okay, I'm not always going to mention them, but Heart of Metal. I've seen a few people kind of complain about the track list, and again, that's a place that's full of Saxon fans, for at least a matter of fact. But that can be but that's more of a nitpick than an actual fucking problem. If that's a problem to at least somebody, more power to you. But if you're writing review on just a covers album and you're going to say, oh, the problems start at the look of the track list, it's just Saxon. They're a bunch of old guys anyways who at least lived with a lot of, grew up listening to most of the bands anyways. You expect them to fucking cover at least something from the modern times, for shit's sake. It's stupid. Why would you... I'm gonna move on. Once again, I've already talked about the problem with the quality of the tracks. There's another issue, whatever. So again, but to be fair, however, some of the covered tracks here sound decent. Crow's Evil Woman surprises with dominant bass guitar sounds that add a healthy dose of energy. Totals Hold the Line finds the perfect balance between energy and melody thanks to its guitar or gritty guitar play. Gritty. Even though I don't mind the cover, but if you listen to my review, I never use the word gritty because that's not a way I would fucking describe this track. Other positive elements are the warm production that blends in appropriately and the cool cover artwork. Whatever. I mean, it's a nice artwork, but if that's what might actually completely at least aspires to you, we all can tell what kind of person this reviewer is and what kind of music he tends to really go for. And I'll venture on more. I'll definitely talk more about what I think this person, very well, he might be, what side he's more suited for, and who I really compare him to. So here we go. Finally, let's end this, end me reading this fucking horse shit here, because I really want to just take this fucking review. I literally go inside the goddamn website like I'm the fucking lawnmower man, just enter myself in, take this thing, and then find whatever his email is, and leave it in a goddamn burning trash can with at least some TNT in it. Fuck this. So let's end this. At the end of the day, however, this album is only interesting for die-hard Saxon fans. For everyone else, this album is only useful as background music, recalling classic rock tracks while doing something else. This release would have been a nice gimmick as a bonus track disc of a regular album, but isn't worth to be purchased on its own. Alright. Let's definitely let me get more in. Let me get more of my little anger out. Let me at least channel my inner Jim Cornette. I'm gonna channel it. This is where you can tell this guy is obviously not even as much of a Saxon fan. Doesn't even give a shit about some of this. Instead, we can tell this guy might have just came from transferred from Pitchfork. Here is where everything he gets, you can tell this guy didn't understand the concept or anything, doesn't understand the context of why probably Saxon did this. Right here. If he thinks this is a fucking knock on anything, right here, this album is only interesting for diehard Saxon fans. That's what it was fucking meant for. It was fucking meant for, you little dipshit. It was meant for Saxon fans, who at least might give a lick of what at least Saxon was going for with here. They would be interested, alright? Fuck. For everyone else, this album is only as useful as background music recalling classic rock tracks. Here's what this person was expecting. He really thought that Saxon was probably going to release this expecting a goddamn Grammy nomination. I mean, most of the other fucking bands probably didn't get a goddamn Grammy nomination, but at the same time, you can tell he's someone that came from Pitchfork, who really aren't metal fans, who aren't hard rock fans. They just want to listen to their fucking Weezer, their goddamn fucking pop punk bullshit. They want to fucking listen to maybe their goddamn Demi Lovato or maybe their other hipster bullshit. I know, so someone's gonna get mad at that, and you know what, I'll take the heat for that. But, I mean, anything, fucked. Of course, they also shat on Greta Van Fleet, which, again, I probably can shit on them if I wanted to. I know that might come as a bit of a surprise, but I mean, you should get the point. This person is mostly speaking to the wrong crowd. He's on a metal forum. He probably should find another goddamn site that is suited for his line of work instead of putting his fucking review on his site. He should have at least submitted this to goddamn Rolling Stone. He probably should have fucking submitted this to at least the goddamn Washington Post. Not a goddamn metal site. But then again, well, like I've stated before, I went and ranted and started to completely pick apart this fucking review. Most of the people that are on this site anyways seem like they're inclined to have at least, like their word is God-given. Like, you have to take everything, like, you can't just have it. They're so oblivious, they're fucking ridiculous, I can't stand them. And this whole review is one of the fucking reasons why the Metal Archives is actually wrong. I mean, okay, you don't have to really like the Inspirations album from Saxon. You don't have to. I mean, okay, you don't have to. Even if you're a metal fan and you like Saxon, it's one thing. But this is a person who obviously thinks that when he goes into a covers album, he expects something, something that is experimental. Again, you could tell he is not completely familiar with Saxon. Again, these guys were formed originally as Son of a Bitch in 1972. Most of the fucking artists he at least is comparing this at least have been born past or at least have formed past 1972. These guys were born at least sometime in probably the 40s or so, maybe the 50s. The stuff that they picked to cover on this album, at least for stuff that they grew up with. They're not picking this to be, oh, we're going to do something interesting, we're going to be something groundbreaking. That was never the fucking point. This person was speaking to the wrong people, and he shouldn't have posted this. And now once again, I feel like I have to at least be somebody who wants to knock this person down the goddamn size. I probably didn't need to complain about this, but once again, I just have to feel like I have to point out on why there is so many things wrong with the goddamn reviewers and at least the reviewing community on goddamn Metal Archives. The fact that I think, which fucking site did it? Was it Louder Music or was it goddamn Metal Sucks? Apparently called Metal Archive, or at least Encyclopedia of the Metallum, probably the premier fucking review site for metal. To me, and again, putting them almost on par with at least Rolling Stone. Was it Rolling Stone that fucking did that? That to me ended up being also destroyed the credibility of at least whatever site said that, and it also, once again, it insulted me. Because, I mean, if I'm going to read a review from somebody, I'm going to read it from somebody who actually knows this goddamn shit. I'm not going to read it from some goddamn average schmucking Joe on goddamn street. I'm not going to. I'm going to at least read a review from somebody. If I'm even interested in a goddamn review written by somebody, it has to be by somebody who at least is at least credible and actually knows what they're fucking talking about. This guy, the only thing he knows about is whatever he's looking through with his lens, instead of looking at the lens of at least what Saxon was, at least what their idea was. He instead has to fucking read this or look at this album through his fucking lens, which I think ruins it ruins the context of what they were doing, and again, he takes the piss of it. But you know what? I took the piss out of this fucking guy. So, again, 55%, 55, well, actually, I give this person almost a 10%, alright? I'll give him 10%, alright? I'll be fucking generous. I'm gonna give him 10% for his goddamn review. Everything wrong about the Metal Archives, once again, and their reviews, lies in this review for at least inspiration from Saxon. They're just letting anybody in just to at least review something when there's at least they should let somebody who has fucking credentials. But the only credentials this person has is that he's just a fucking reviewer. He's got to review something on the internet. He's got to almost listen to everything that comes out. Everything. I've seen somebody on Rate Your Music that actually feel like they have to listen to everything that comes out. And most of the time, they all come off as all the fucking people that at least were working for Rolling Stone, which is, again, the most overrated fucking publisher in the entire world. They were fucking overrated when they first started, and they're overrated today. And I think and the fact is that many people, or they think that many people even still give a shit about them. But you know what? It's probably the same people that really worship the Grammys. Fuck. So you get it. You probably get why I would be, I shouldn't be hot about some of this. But at the same time, it's ridiculous. I just want at least certain sites to at least have some credibility and some fucking credentials. But every time that the Metal Archives are usually rated at some sort of, or at least are rated at some sort of a high point or whatnot, I'm just about ready to fucking throw up. I hate this site for the most part. I don't like their reviewers, is for what I'm probably going on. I don't like the reviewers. I think the fact that, and again, that there's even other things I could pick apart as far as what they allow even on their site as far as reviews. I've seen some people who put together a good articulate review and get told, nah, it's not good enough, but they'll let fucking Drek like this, at least here. They'll let Drek like this bullshit. Same thing with whoever fucking reviews a King Diamond album. They'll let anybody, some idiot. They let idiots into this site. But again, it's ran by idiots. I'm running out of steam with whatever fucking shit I can talk about. So I'm done with this goddamn schmo. So fuck this guy. Fuck the Metal Archives. Also, I can even pick apart the fact that how many times whenever it comes to at least album of the week, I'm trying to pick an album at least to put out on its anniversary, but yet I come out and find out that the date they got for its original release is wrong. Nobody has credentials on the fucking Metal Archives. Nobody even has goddamn licking integrity. They're fucking idiots. They just do whatever the fuck they want and expect people to kiss their ass. But you know what? I decided to put my foot up their ass to begin with. Fuck them. Alright, so I've already just ranted about this. I gotta take my drink from Squirt here. Ugh. No, it is not. Your review isn't fucking inspirational to begin with. Piece of shit. Alright, let's move on. Finally, I let out at least a fucking raging rant for once. Even if some people think that it might sound a little unintelligent, but compared to that fucking idiot who wrote that, I know what I fucking put in my reviews. Here's one thing. Again, when I'm reviewing something, if I'm going to make any references, I'm at least going to make references to something at least most of the people who at least come in and watch my review or listen to it, at least will get, they'll understand. I'm not just going to go out to make any comparisons to at least, the live albums. Well, there's a lot of live albums going to release nowadays. It seems to be a trend. So I'm going to compare, so I'm going to at least run off plenty of other live albums that came out. I'm going to at least talk about a live album that came from so-and-so who's obviously getting a big deal, or maybe not, I don't know. Fuck you. If I'm going to make any sort of references, it has to make sense. If I'm saying, well, you know what, this guy reminds me of this, and I think he's got it, but it's always going to be in the realm of at least of the same sort of vicinity. I'm not going to venture out the goddamn vicinity and say, well, he reminds me of fucking Barry Manilow. If I'm making a reference to fucking King Diamond and say, oh yeah, he probably sounds like Barry Manilow. I'm not fucking doing that. It makes no goddamn sense to even make it. It doesn't work, you fucking dipshits. You have to at least pick something where at least the person who's listened to it, who might be clicking on it and is a fan of said band, will at least get. But many of them will be like, will be scratching their head. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever heard of that. Well, I've never heard of it. I don't know what was this person making it. What the fuck? Do I have to wring my hand around this guy's neck? Fuck. It's goddamn ridiculous. So, it's absolutely pathetic. And I feel if you're going to at least be a decent reviewer, if you're going to make any references, it has to be one where at least the listener will at least get. Even if it is something if they never heard of, you also should do it as a way to also maybe get them interested. But I doubt any people are going to be interested in fucking check. Even if the guy says it was uninteresting, you expect anybody to actually go on and listen to a fucking covers album from Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day. I doubt it. Because of most people that are in the metal community, or at least are fans of Saxon. I know there's probably one person I know that is at least somewhat of a Green Day fan, but at the same time, most diehard Saxon fans don't care about Green Day. They don't. That is out of their fucking wheelhouse. And also, once again, the biggest takeaway from that review is that the fact that the person didn't understand that it was made for the diehard Saxon fans. It wasn't made for casual fucking music fans like him, okay? It was made for fucking diehard Saxon fans. Diehard fans of the new wave of British heavy metal. Diehard fans of that. It was, and even, again, it's not made. Also, here's a really interesting one. You want to know how stupid this fucking guy is? Again, what was it? I decided to check out their cover before I really got my copy in the mail. I did check out a bit of their cover of the Beatles' Paperback Writer. Well, when you're scrolling through all the comments on YouTube, you got a lot of people. I mean, it could be a lot of diehard Saxon fans that are going, wow, this is a great cover. But then you'll see a comment from somebody who was not a big fan of Saxon, but was also a Beatles fan, though. But again, not a fan of Saxon, but is a Beatles fan. He goes on and says, I may not be a fan of this, but you know what? I will respect what they did here. I think it's a fine cover. And that was from a guy who was at least a Beatles fan, but isn't a metal fan, but a Beatles fan. And he actually understood, could at least see that there was something there, that there was at least some sort of good work. But this fucking idiot, who probably could be around the same age as me, maybe even younger. I'm pretty much 25, and I'll be 26 this year. But this guy is probably fucking 19 years old. And he's just going on just other bands that I've never really cared to check out or just never heard of. And is just going on like he's a goddamn little hipster. And again, would be best suited for Pitchfork. And again, I hate Pitchfork. I fucking don't like it, but it's not geared towards fucking fans like me who like the more hard rock, heavy metal stuff. No, it's geared towards people who are, again, might be even more open-minded than me and want to check out stuff that's really out of their wheelhouse, that are so different, that it's experimental. That's what sites like Pitchfork is fucking at least geared towards. It's not geared towards metal fans like me. But at the same time, you're going on a fucking metal site and you expect that your people are just going to take your fucking word and at least say, well, you actually are going on, you're naming off a lot of open-minded, but at the same time, it's open-minded for the sake of being fucking open-minded. God damn it. The idiots. Just idiots. Stay in your fucking lane, alright? That's all it should be stated here. Stay in your... Listen, I'll stay out of your lane if you stay out of my lane. And that means if you're going to at least pick your lane, which is basically your genre, your style, stay there. And I'll stay on my lane. I won't go on to yours. So that's why you don't really see me reviewing everything that gets released. I'm only mostly interested in... Again, I review stuff that I'm interested in. I'm not that kind of reviewer. And once again, I mean, yes, more power to them. At the same time, again, the problem once again is that this guy is on a metal site. And he sounds like he's somebody that isn't a metal fan as much, but likes to be more like something that's more experimental. That's just different. That's out of this world. You weren't going to get that with Saxon, because again, the guy just wasn't familiar with them. He wasn't familiar with their body of work, maybe. And it's just, again, pretty much not understanding the concept. He forgot the concept or didn't get it. And that's his fault. But at the same time, if you're a fan of Saxon and you're going on to the Metal Archives and you see a review for an album from them, they're at least are expecting it from somebody who is at least a fan of the band reviewing it, and not somebody who feels like who might be getting paid. For all I know, again, he could have been paid by somebody to fucking write a review. I don't know, does the Metal Archive actually pay their people? I don't think so, but that's just the way that it comes off of, because of you expect Saxon fans, or at least people who are familiar with Saxon, to cover some of their work. Not somebody, again, like who seems to be the equivalent of a Rolling Stone reviewer who's just being told, well, this is a new release, I have to review it, even though I may not be a fan of these guys, I have to review it, and then guess what? The review comes out, well, then there's a reason why I'm not a fan. I just don't like their work. I don't like them. I'm not a fan of metal. That's what it is. So, this sound sucks. You shouldn't buy it. Whatever. Fuck you. So, it's just ridiculous. That's the best way I could put it. It's ridiculous, and I think in some cases they need to stick to what they know instead of sticking to stuff that they don't know about. And that's what with me, I try to stick to what I know instead of trying to branch out, because I have to be intelligent. I have to sound at least like I'm smart. Fuck that. It's stupid. So I hope you bared with me with that. So what else? I guess this might have been the first all-out rant episode of the Nasty Metal Podcast. Again, I'm just discussing shit. So, where can I go now? Where can I go from here then? Where can I? You know what? I don't know. I think if anything, for right now, again, what comes out this next week is what comes out. Again, I've got other stuff reviewed. I don't know whenever I'll probably get to at least reviewing the new Alice Cooper. I'm still waiting on my copy of it. One other thing. Let me kind of at least briefly talk about this. I know it takes absolutely fucking forever to at least, when it comes to at least buying something from Russia, but goddamn, you know what? This is more gonna be a this time a discussion on tracking and USPS tracking and whatnot. So, I ordered at least a CD from Discogs, and it could be a counterfeit, but you know what? It was $8, and I was very much interested in the album. It's a CD copy of, oh god, what's it called? Blood Red or something? I don't know. From a band called Tattoo. It was their only album that they released. It was on Metal Blade, and I found a CD copy of it. Again, it was from a Russian seller, and again, it was for $8, and I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll buy it. Well, took a while to at least have him ship it, because I had to fucking basically go in and remind the guy that I ordered this. So finally, he replies back, and he says he'll ship it out, and he ships it out 5 days later. Well, because this is from the Russian Federation, it took a while for at least make it out of Russia. It took a week. But by the time it finally left Russian customs, no tracking. It's been February already. I mean, we're past February. It was February 27th. It is now, or was it February 27th? Yeah. It's now March 26th. Right now, we're on the 26th. No update. Don't even know. And the thing is, the person also decided to package this without a CD case. It's got the artwork with it, and it's just the CD by itself. Basically, to at least cut costs on shipping things. And I understand why people do that. But I am completely worried if it's going to come in cracked. I'm going to worry if it's going to be broken. And without a update on where it's been, because again, it's registered. The times that I wake up are usually around 11 o'clock. The mailman usually probably gets around 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. And I'm pretty much dead asleep, and I have to always turn my phone off because I don't want it to overheat overnight or whatnot. And so I can't really keep up with any of where it's coming in. If I knew ahead of time if it was coming in through my city, through my town, then I know when to wake up and wait for it. Since I'm not going to be turning my phone on, maybe I might end up to at least see the check on it. But I haven't once, so I don't know if that means now it's untrackable. They're not tracking it now, and it's just coming in through invisible airlines. I don't know, invisible shipment, and I don't know about when it's coming in. At this point, I've had something happen to me where I think I purchased, was it 2 years ago, or was it 3 years now? Victim of Rock from Rampage, a German band. Well, that had tracking, and it was fast shipping. One of the fastest shipping I've ever received from somebody from Germany. But there was barely any. But apparently, I wasn't getting notified that it made it through my city. And so when I woke up, there it is in the mailbox. And I never got a goddamn update on where it's been. I kept getting, usually, it's usually, it is right now tracking through the system or whatnot. You know, the typical sort of custom bullshit that USPS puts out. It is on its way. It's being tracked through the system, as we know. You know, kind of, the typical stuff. I kept getting that when it already had fucking arrived, and it never got scanned. So I don't know if that's the whole issue, and I don't know if it got lost through mail. I don't know if it got damaged. I don't know. I don't know if they just chucked it in the fucking water. It is absolutely painstaking when it comes to getting mail from or getting any shipment from really outside of the United States, especially Russia or Germany, for example. It seems like. Fuck. But you know what? I've had things come in much quicker than fucking Germany. And also, fuck customs at times. They take fucking forever. So there you go. So I don't know when the fucking these come in. So that's about it. I've talked about as much as I could. So with that, again, I'm not going to announce any sort of scheduled content because again, what comes out on this channel is what comes out. So with that, I hope you somewhat enjoyed this episode of the Nasty Metal Podcast. So with that, hope y'all enjoyed. This is Happy Thrasher Sam out. I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.